afternoon, everyone. You are now listening to Flushing International High School News. Today, we will focus primarily on the current immigration issue in the United States and the policy proposed by our two elected presidents. The U.S. immigrant population has grown sharply over the decade from 9.6 million in 1970 to almost 48 million in 2023. Some politicians are optimistic about the immigration issue, believe that they will benefit the economy and bring about 10 trillion US dollars for growth in the next decade. However, some people believe that a large number of immigrants occupy the limited resources of the United States, claims they take away jobs and contribute to increased crime rate.
Harris promised to close private immigration detention centers, limit deportations, and fight for a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants in the United States. She now says she wants to sign into a law the tall border compromise that Congress was unable to pass in 2024 after Donald Trump objected to do it. Kamala Harris said she wants to help people without papers stay here and become citizens. She also wants to close places where people without papers are kept. Now, she says she wants to make the border safer and make it harder for people to come here without papers. She says that coming here without papers is against the law.
However, Donald Trump holds very different view on immigration than Harris. His immigration agenda focuses on border security and reducing undocumented immigration. He prioritized building a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border and implement a zero-tolerance policy that separates families at the border.
Flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. By the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it.
Okay. So what is your opinion on immigration? Do you think it's a problem? Do you think immigration is good for America, and why?
Yeah, so I think immigration is very good for America. One, I think like the thing people don't think about very often is like how often immigrants come here and like are the workers for a lot of different industries. There are like farms and like meat packing places that depend on immigrant labor to run. Like our economy wouldn't exist, wouldn't survive if we had no immigrant labor. I also think like that the more different kinds of people we have in the United States, the better. Diversity is a good thing. We learn and we grow by understanding new ways of living and new things. So I think like there are very few, like the only thing bad about immigration is the way that we treat immigrants that are coming here. And not giving them like, I don't know, like putting them in jail cells and treating them very poorly. So yeah, for me, immigration and like more and different people is a good thing and helps the economy, helps our way of life, and yeah, just makes things better in general.
Okay, next question. Now there are thousands of illegal immigrants come to U.S. every day. So what do you think is the right approach to these illegal immigrants who are already arrived U.S.? Should we keep them or should we just send them back?
So I would just disagree. There's no such thing as an illegal immigrant, right? We should try to not say illegal. They might be undocumented and they may not have gone through the same processes as others. But I think like oftentimes like they have just as much right to be in this country as other people. I think one of the biggest problems is really not having clear expectations about who is a refugee and why. And I think a lot of people who are leaving their countries for valid reasons that we should respect. Like if a family is afraid that their son is going to be hurt or injured by some dangerous group, they should be allowed to come here and have safety and opportunity. I think the other thing is, if we look at why so many immigrants are coming here, undocumented or not, it's often because of economic opportunity. And I think like a big reason that is like the history of colonization and of like taking resources and money out of places, especially places in South and Central America, that made people in the United States very rich. So I think if we want to, like, if this is something we want to change, we gotta help and support these countries to have their own strong economies and recognize that a lot of the problems that exist there were problems created by the United States and other like rich countries. So I think the way to start is by supporting those countries and being better, and making a plan for like what are the reasons people are leaving, and if we can address those problems in those countries, then people won't need to or want to come to the United States as much.
Foreign policy issue.
Well, I would say in terms of use foreign policy issue, right? I would say one of the issues that are going to affect all of you is, I would say foreign policy, but it does affect all of it's really the immigration policy of this nation going forward. This is something I think you all should pay attention to. I mean, I'm not partisan here, so I'm not gonna say about what one candidate or another candidate. However, I think we can all agree we are facing an immigration crisis here in this country, not just New York City. This is something that's been talked about at the national level a lot. So going forward, I think one of the issues that needs to be discussed, along with your presidential candidate, also your congressional candidate, is about immigration policy, what it should look like going forward. Obviously, the current system right now is not looking out great. I think we all could agree with that right now. What is going on right now is not working out great. So I think this is something that you should, again, do your research, not just about president too. There's actually a lot of congressional elections. This year is yes, presidential is a big one. However, this year there is actually a couple of competitive congressional elections. Those are the people that go to Washington D.C. who will make up, the new. With going to next year, who I'm positive they will talk about the new immigration policies going forward. So I suggest all of you not just.
As we can see, Trump and Kamala, the president totally utilize the vision about immigration.
While Trump advocates for more restrictive actions and a security approach, Harris proposed a path towards citizenship and comprehensive reform. The decisions that voters make will impact immigration policy and also the direction of the country.